This isn't about us living in our perfect house, kids
Right.
going to the perfect school. Those things were nice. We had a short season of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then God steps in. Are you living for me or are you living for this world? Are you
Yeah.
living for me or are you living for your business? Welcome to All About the Family with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm Mr. Smith.
And I'm Mrs. Smith. We've already wrapped up our Summer of Growth series, and we are getting back into the grind, back to school, back to reality. We're going to talk about it. So, back to school, back into the grind, back to early mornings and dragging kids out of bed. You love it, right?
Yeah, well, the summer is always nice to, for us, get that extra hour of sleep. Um, there's pros and cons, right? But then you got the kids with you all day, and it's just a different environment, so to speak. The kids back to school. One thing I like about it is, I go from getting up between 6 and 7 to now getting up 4 or 5 o'clock. It's how my prayer time. But personally, I like the set schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more structure.
There's a lot more structure. Yes. There's more routine, and I think that helps the kids also.
It's a little bit of a free for all during the summer, which is nice to break that schedule, that grueling schedule, because we also got church a couple nights a week. We're teaching at the church. We're staying busy.
Yeah, but when you do that for too long, it definitely throws things out of whack a bit. It's good to have a routine, and our kids have bounced back and forth
Yes.
through different things with different routines when it comes back to school, especially in more recent years. Um, as we transitioned from New York to Texas, and we kind of wanted to get into that a bit. In this episode, we're going to do a two-part series, and we're wanting to talk about a bit of our transition from New York to Texas, um, and we want to bring the kids in on part two of this and kind of talk to them and get an idea of, you know, how they experienced everything, what the experience was like for them. So Texas, New York to Texas, big move.
Yeah, and I think this will touch people in a couple of ways. One is God's setting up the end time church right now. Some people are being called out of state. Some people are being called different regions, locations, churches.
Yeah.
So I think sharing our story a little bit might help somebody. I remember we were looking for stories when we were moving. We've never left New York. We've been born and raised in New York. We've only been involved in one church that we got saved at, that we got married at. And now God's calling us away from that.
Yep.
And we had our kids in a nice Christian school, which was nice. We worked hard to get them in there. It was expensive, but it was worth it. It was an investment. They are our greatest investment. Yes. So I remember one time just thinking like, it's so, this is almost another mortgage payment. And then I don't know who I was talking to, but like, is there a greater investment that you have?
Yeah.
So they are our greatest investment.
Yeah. And we're not, I know that some people have their kids in public school, and that's completely fine and their choice. And
yes.
And there's that debate of whether or not we should, kind of isolate our kids or insulate our kids, to kind of protect from the worldly infiltration, or do we put them out in that so that they could be a light? I think that really is a personal decision based on your own child,
personal convictions.
But besides that, definitely personal convictions, but the child themselves, can they handle that? Right. Where are they going to thrive? Where will it may not have the best effect or outcome for them?
Right.
And so for us, we chose to homeschool, especially living in New York. It's the state itself has a lot of views, and the political climate is very opposite of our values and morals. And so that was a decision that we made prayerfully, and God made a way for us for a season.
Right.
For a season, brings us to, how
Right.
things shifted for us,
Right.
where God was trying to get our attention and say, hey, it's time to uproot
Yeah.
and move.
Yeah. As Christians, it's, I, I've said this before, but the American dream, well, it seems so nice to people and people strive for that and maybe even see it as success. A lot of times it's contrary to the gospel. We're not living for the American dream, though we're Americans, we're Christians first.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that to say this, that it was our second house since we've been married. We love that house.
Mm-hmm.
Great neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was like not a mansion, but it was like
it was comfortable.
It was comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And
It's somewhere that I had said when we moved there that I would never move again unless
right.
the Lord moves us.
Right. So it was a lifetime house. We set it up the way we wanted to set up. We had great neighbors. The kids' school was 10 minutes away. They were going to a great school. Business was doing great. My business, we were thriving. We were almost doubling every year.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to step back from your job and kind of raise the kids, um, and then God steps in
Mm-hmm.
and flips the script.
And 2020 hit and flipped the script too.
2020 hit, yeah, but sometimes God is multiple. He does things multifaceted.
Right.
But one thing is,
I say he's a divine orchestrator.
Yeah, he's not. This isn't about us living in our perfect house, kids going to the perfect school. Those things were nice. We had a short season of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then God steps in. Are you living for me or are you living for this world? Are you living for me or are you living for your business? Are you, and we said, we made a choice to sell that house. And there was a lot of crying. I think you cried for every day for almost a year, even in Texas.
Yeah.
Leaving our parents.
And it wasn't just the house that we were leaving; it was the life that we were leaving.
Our
family,
siblings.
Yeah. What's familiar? What's the only thing we've ever known, right?
Yeah.
So that there's a lot of grieving involved with that, and I still have my moments of grieving. We were supposed to record yesterday, and I was having one of those days, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
It's crazy that I didn't grieve as much as you. I'm kind of like, I got to be the tough one, put the plow down and go. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's the right way because we all need to release.
Yeah.
But yesterday, every time we go through boxes of our old stuff, it stirs you up. And that happened to me. We've been here for 2 years. So maybe a year ago, you had me pulling some stuff out from the summer. And I remember, wow, these are the trays that we were serving our friends. We had a tight group of friends, prayer group. We did life together. Phil, one of my best friends, we had business together. I got saved through his family. Like, we said goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And
it was a lot.
But we just trusted God, and it hasn't been easy since we've been here. But God brought us to a great church. He's given us some great friends here. And our kids this past year were able to get into a great school.
Yes.
That we're thankful about.
But going right from, how did we know that we had to move, right? Like, for me, there just became something within me, like an unction. Like, I had never been to Texas, knew nothing about Texas, and something just kept stirring in my spirit, like, you need to go. And at first it was just to visit.
Yeah.
It wasn't go move. I just felt like there was some kind of divine appointment that we were to have in Texas, and I couldn't shake it. And at that time you were going on some missions trips.
Yeah. I went with a whole bunch of Texas ministers.
Yeah.
Like that's
there
weird.
were just so many things that became like, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then things got tight and uncomfortable, and it's almost like that eagle example of the eagle pushing its eaglets out
of
the nest because
they were made to fly.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, that's, I was the one towards the end, that was going out working, working our business. And that's how God really got my attention. We went from almost doubling every year to no work. Like, what in the world's going on here?
Right.
But thankfully, he was already starting to deal with you and dealing with me a little bit. And we said, okay. He helped us.
Yes.
He forced our hand, so to speak. I mean, we still had to obey him, and we had decisions to make. But even from packing up that house of how many years of how many years? 16 years that we've been together.
At that time. And we weren't, I mean, we had only been in that house for 3 years. So, I mean, there were things that we took from the first house, but I mean, we had pared stuff down and it was still so much. But I was in a place where God was really stretching me and teaching me to trust him because I'm a planner and I had no answers for anything. And so, all I had in my power to do was pack. And that was a very uncomfortable place for me to be. I didn't know where we were going. You know, we'll have to tell them the story another day about how we ended up where we're at. I mean, just God is just amazing on how he does things. He does things so specific and intentional, and he doesn't leave any gaps. Like he's the master orchestrator, right? Down to, you know, where we're living and the timing of things. And sometimes we feel like he's late, and meanwhile he's right on time.
Right. It's been a journey of miracles. And
Pastor Cisco says, what does he say? Stressful miracles. Elijah talked about having stressful miracles. I know all about that.
So, yeah, and a lot of times miracles only show up when they're needed.
Yeah.
And we needed them. So it's another point that I know this would help somebody because it's helped me. Solomon said, with all thy getting, get understanding. Without understanding, you really could walk away from this thing. You could really lose your salvation. You could get offended because you just lack understanding that God has a purpose in pain and setbacks and trials, and he's got a purpose in all of it. And he's a good God, and we could trust him. But the miracles, we knew, once we knew for a fact this was God gave us so many signs, we prayed, fasted, prophetic words. Once we knew this was God's will, sometimes the misconception is, well, then everything's just going to fall into place and it's going to be easy breezy.
Never been for us.
Things will fall into place because of the Lord's grace, but very
Never
rarely
easy breezy.
Right. So though it was the Lord's will for us to get here, we couldn't get here without a bona fide miracle.
Right.
Maybe we could get into that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Though God was calling us here, we needed multiple miracles, like financial miracles, house miracles, place to live miracles, and all those took place.
Yeah.
Every one of them took place.
Yeah. And we got to a point that things got so tight with us that we had to make a decision to pull the kids out of school. And something that I've always said is, I would never homeschool. I'm not a teacher. You know, it's just like, that's just not for me. And, you know, I say God has a sense of humor because, what do you know, he puts me in a situation where I have to homeschool.
Right.
And, you know, it was definitely an experience for all of us, right? I mean, it did give us some good time with them. I don't think any of us really enjoyed it. I mean, the idea of it was great. And kudos to those that do it. I just, you know, it just didn't work for our family as much as we would have liked it to. And we want to get the boys' feedback on that, you know, but it was for a season, it was for a time, and I believe there was a purpose and there was nothing wasted in that. And so whether it was just growing us, stretching us, even me being able to pour into them in a way I never did get to before because I was either working or the kids were in school. I know that it wasn't for nothing, and I've gained a lot of experience, and that I wouldn't trade. And I hope the boys would say they wouldn't trade that either. Right. They've been through it with us, and I really am excited to hear what they have to say and what their experience is, because they've had to, even coming here. Once we got here, we still had to homeschool them for a little while. Before they got accepted to a charter school that we tried to get, we were looking to get them into. They
kind of miraculous how it happened.
That was miraculous how it happened. Even the timing of that.
They got accepted the day that they left their
They
last school.
Right. They
A
started
year apart.
Yep.
To the day.
To the day. It was crazy.
To the day.
It was crazy.
God's
So,
like, you're going to give this up for me. I'm going to do this for you.
right.
And that's a wonderful thing, that you can't outgive God.
Right.
You can't out-sacrifice God. He's always going to one-up you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what a father does.
That's it.
And it's awesome. So I'm excited to hear from the kids.
Yes. As am I.
All right,
Part
Josh.
2 coming up.